Yeah, what was it?
Hold on, 620.
In order to ship Mozilla the next morning, Scott Collins is called in to replace Apple's code with his own invention.
And theoretically, we believe this is possible. It's my last bug. When I complete this bug, I will be allowed to rest. So I stayed up until about 5:40 this morning writing this replacement class, because it made my life a living hell. I got it basically running. It's all running. It's all really good. And thank heavens we got permission from Apple to ship the regular source.
It's my understanding that Jamie is going to be the person that is going to be pushing the bits up to the website at around 10 o'clock. Is that correct? That's what I think. Okay. And we're going to be staging some different photo opportunities for the press at that time. There'll be television cameras.
Couldn't we just hire actors to do this?
I was just telling you to be on TV. Come on. We're not going to mandate. You're on TV now. I personally think anyone is going to come.
One way to learn to run a marathon is put a person out 26 miles into the desert and say, you know, that there's this bomb on your back that's going to go off in a certain length of time if you don't get into the town. Well, that'll motivate you to get in, but there's a certain chance that you'll be blown up.
What time is it?
Yeah, it's 5 to 10. So
I'm going to be late. Hurry up.
Welcome everybody to the conference call. Thanks for joining us this morning. Today, Netscape announced that the first developer release of its Communicator 5.0 source code is available for download from the mozilla.org website.
And you know where TAR is, right?
it's second floor?
Yeah, it's the first floor, like way on the other side.
And then today, on the end of March, as we announced, we are pushing the code out to the web, as they say, and we're delighted to be part of it, and we're very excited to see what happens.
The good news is the marathoner is now coming into town with that bomb on his back, and it looks like he's going to make it.
This is the moment of truth.
They don't have a theoretical framework to write software. They're just writing it.
Hi.
It's just like hitting the baseball. If their code gets a home run, nobody's asking questions. Well, this doesn't make sense, or why do you do that? Why does it work? Nobody cares why it works.
You're not nervous or anything, are you?
This is bad.
What's that?
Well,
It's not connected to...
the machine that controls the FTP push is like not answering.
Is it loaded?
It's blast, not blash.
No. Oh.
Yeah, maybe good reason not to...
Oh. That bin, yeah.
Duh.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
up.
Yay.
It's super.
Mac's there. Unix is there. Windows is there.
We're done.
We're done. It's up.
We're done.
Since Jamie is here, I'm told that means that we have now pushed the source out on the net. Is that correct?
Actually, we decided not to.
Any funny?
It was just a stupid idea.
That's our story, and we're sticking to it.
For a moment, everyone at Netscape takes a breather.
I think it's going to work out.
In the first hours of its release, the source code is downloaded thousands of times, but the number of downloads is no guarantee that Netscape will receive enough valuable contributions to help the company reverse its slide.
He's known as Pavlov to me. He's Pavlov at Pavlov.net. On IRC, he's Pavlov or Pav, or Pav sleeping, or Pav tired up too late. And without him, I think we'd be months behind.
Netscape's notoriety draws code writers from around the world willing to work on Mozilla without pay. One such contributor comes from rural Georgia.
I have been amazed over the last 2 or 3 years when, especially his mother would come tell me, well, so-and-so called from maybe New York, and they were coming to Atlanta and they wanted to talk to Stuart or see him. and they were going to go down and have lunch. Well, I'd say, you know, who is this person from New York? And then all of a sudden, well, he's been working with Stewart on some programming issues for a year or so, and he wanted to come down and meet. Said, well, did you tell him you're only 16?
I had no idea. And that's great. That's a wonderful thing, because he's contributing. It doesn't matter that he's young.
We're in the place we call the cave. We just shut the door, and this is where he does whatever he does. It is flabbergasting to think that your child has done something for this worldwide company instead of his homework.
I went and looked back at the older code, and I was really frightened by how incredibly messy and just awful the code looked. It would have taken you years to try and figure out what it was doing, so we basically did it from scratch. Pretty much I'm providing the code that makes the browser show everything faster and more efficiently than it used to.
His keyboarding is almost just like talking. It's just an expression. He can express himself that way, and it's just totally unconscious almost, just a part of how he communicates.
In the past, free code contributions helped build the internet. How a commercial enterprise will benefit from free code remains a big question.
Well, it's certainly my hope that the enormous amount of new people that no one company could afford to have working on any product now contributing to the Netscape Navigator Communicator will make a significant difference in the improvement of the product. How that works against any competitor remains to be seen.
Morning.
Morning, thank you.
David Retterman, an analyst for a San Francisco investment bank, closely monitors Netscape's radical plan for investors eager to participate in the internet stock boom.
The market is really kind of a voting machine. It's voting, yes, I believe that vision statement. Yes, I believe that's going to result in product sales. Yes, that's going to drive earnings up, and you know, stocks should trade accordingly.
The financial benefits to Netscape of giving away its source code are hard to measure.
I understand why Netscape's trying to do it, but I think they still have to show me that behind the vision and the slideware, there's a real sustainable business model that can deliver earnings, and so I'm in a show me mode for Netscape.
Now, my job will be 3 times as hard as it was yesterday. It was already 10 times harder than it needed to be, right? Did I just work really hard to ship the company jewels out of the building, and it's going to just end up in us dying and rolling in poison and misery?
The day after the stuff goes out, you really don't get a let up. There is then this sort of day in, day out, go to work, turn on the computer, code, code, code.
That's Tara. Tara.
Yeah, what's your doctor say, Tara?
My doctor said,
Mylanta.
interestingly enough, that I work too much. And then if I went to work today after my appointment, he would personally kill me.
I have an agreement with myself that by the time I'm 35, I'm either going to be a high school teacher or a bartender, but something, anything other than a position in a high-tech industry. Otherwise, I'll probably die by the time I'm 40.
Now that I'm an old guy, I've kind of been around the block a couple times, and you can go from realizing this just never stops, does it? And that being really depressing, because you feel like I said I was never going to be on the treadmill, and here I am. I'm on the treadmill. I'm going to be running like this forever.
Because they're good at software, they need to keep pace. And as a result, keeping pace means to shut a lot of other things out. They just don't have time to read, time to hear about the world. They don't have much time for their families.
But when you're in a situation where you really have a lot of work to do and no time to do it, you know, you pick what you want. Some people pick wanting to have a family. Some people pick wanting to get some software done.
Christopher was born right after I started at Netscape, and I basically missed the first 2 years of his life because of the intensity I'd work till about 7 or 8 o'clock, come home, eat dinner, put the kids to bed, and then go back to work or work from home until 2 or 3 in the morning, and I was like the dad zombie.
He would call and say, I'm on my way home, and then it would be 2 or 3 hours, and, you know, the romantic dinner candles had burned down, and I was thinking he was dead by the side of the road. So, you know, if 24 hours goes by and I don't hear from him, I pretty much know where to find him.
I live in Michigan, and I commute. So it's quite a long commute. I don't make it every day. I only make it about every 2 weeks or so. But you know, there's quite a time change. Here it's something like 12:01 in the morning, and there it's 1954.
The motivation for moving back here is I wanted to get into a community, put roots down, and you know, feel settled. And life is just different out there. It really is. I mean, here people like work at a car factory or whatever, and they're 30 years and out.
If you want to go over there, sure, that's fine by me.
We spent like 45 minutes talking about all like this whole story from job to job to job to job. And I thought it was pretty cool. He had like over, I forgot how many, I don't know, it was over like 10 or something jobs.
He seemed to do it a lot during particularly peak stressful times, like, you know, baby due in 2 months, I'm changing jobs now, dear.
I like when everything's changing. That makes it exciting. That's why I do it. It's something to be in the storm, right in the middle of it, and seeing everything new happening and putting it all together. It's really exciting. It's almost addictive. I wouldn't want to leave it, that's for sure.
At times, it's a clear sacrifice of elements of your personal life. I have to work very hard, but I have the chance of being rewarded for my efforts. The disadvantage, my life's moving on. I don't have any children yet. You realize there's a certain amount of my life that I'm sacrificing, and I'm going to look back, and a portion of this life is gone.
In the U.S., we have at least several million people directly making a living from software. And it's the fastest growing group of people in the economy. And it's certainly, in aggregate, the highest paying field of its size. I mean, yeah, you've got baseball, you've got Hollywood. But, you know, when you really think of a group that has millions of people in it, these are the highest wages anybody's ever seen in the United States.
The opportunity to win big for code writers is very real. In fact, that, if you will, jackpot opportunity is reflected here on a Wall Street trading desk. And I find that a lot of the engineers and managers from Silicon Valley are very attuned to what goes on these trading floors daily.
By one account, 64 millionaires are created daily in Silicon Valley, where any technology worker can strike it rich overnight.
You join a company and they give you some stock options, which basically says, rather than just giving you stock, they give you the right to buy the stock in the future at the current price. You might get stock in the order of, you know, maybe a year's salary or 2 years' salary typically worth of options. In some of these real booming companies out there on the internet, the potential for becoming a millionaire or doing very well is very, very high. The people who are very, very early, they call them mozillionaires.
Stock options are a con. It's a carrot they dangle. It's like, oh, well, you know, if you give up your one and only youth, maybe someday you'll make money, right? I've known so many people who gambled on the startup lottery and gotten nothing. You know, it's just like a lottery ticket. It's a stupid tax. I happened to win that particular lottery.
From the day Microsoft announced its aggressive commitment to the internet, however, Netscape's stock has been in a steady decline, and throughout most of 1998, Netscape options are essentially worthless.
A year and a half ago, half of our revenue came from browser sales. Today, none of it does. And well, any business person out there knows that that's a huge challenge. I mean, let me take your #1 selling product away from you and you replace that within a period of 12 months or so. Not many people want to do that.
Even though the company sells other internet products, the marketplace views Netscape as a browser company in a losing battle with Microsoft.
Greg, this is Jim Barksdale. with Netscape Communications. How are you?
It's clear that Netscape doesn't have enough pieces to threaten Microsoft.
All right, Greg.
I don't think that Netscape long-term can survive as an independent company.
While Mozilla tries to recapture the early glory days of the company, integrating code from the outside means more work for everyone on the browser team.
Apparently, I must have done it backwards from what you told me, or I